Eileen, aka Eileen Little. Additional information about this show and my podcast show, Arts, Crafts, and everything in between can be found on my website, eileenlittlecraft.com. Alrighty guys, so welcome to Mixed Media Monday. Oh, I know, right? I feel like it's been forever and I'm terribly sorry and I need to get my phone out of the way. That's how like unprepared I am. Thinking. I feel like I'm stinking. My brain is a little bit in the mush side. Anyway guys, as you can see, I have a bunch of items on my desk. I cleaned it somewhat, but needs a better tidying up here. Alrighty, so I actually should have got rid of this mat, but it's alright. I'll just wipe it down when I'm finished. Alrighty, so this is a what was this? A 5x8 mixed media book. This is the one that I've been working on. Let me show you guys the cover. Forever in Mixed Media Mondays. I'm down to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Wow. In this book. Holy cow. This is like my first mixed media book that I made. This was actually one of the last pages before I went on my summer vacation. Yeah, so it's good to be back. I know that I've been MIA. I don't know, I kind of feel like I've lost a little bit of my mojo, but I'm gonna get back in there. I promise. Alrighty, so I'm looking around and I think that I have a plan here. Every time I sit down and say, oh, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that, nothing works properly. So what I'm gonna do, since I know that this is gonna take a little bit of a minute to dry, I'm gonna be using some Artology effects paint. This one is Lava. I love the texture on this. I love the color. It's black. It's really cool. It has anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my finger because I can't find my palette knife. I hope it didn't dry out. It doesn't look like it dried out. I'm gonna use a bit of my finger and I am going to just place this on this heart here. Now this is a grunge heart. Unfortunately, I've found out that grunge for a while now has no longer been available. So the grunge shapes are no longer, they're not making it grunge paper anymore. He is making something called, what is that, Constructs, or anyways, if you guys look at his new line, I'll put that down below. And I have a piece of paper here. Just gonna wipe my fingers off and set that aside to dry. I should have gotten some more paper, but it is what it is. And now what I'm going to do is cover this bad boy up so it doesn't dry out. Love Artology stuff. Have to get more. And now what else am I thinking? Alright, so I went and did I had some extra gesso and I used a stencil or a dry brushing technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about using some different types of blues. I will be using some distress ink. I'm going to be using, I don't know if I'm going to cut it out or use this as a stencil. I made a birthday card out of these shapes. This is just some recollections paper. I figured I would do a fall type inspired page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my palette plate and I'm going to be using, what is this, primary blue, and I'm also going to be using some light violet blue. So this is primary blue and this is light violet blue. We're going to start off with this one first. That may have been too much. I may have to use it on another page. But that's alright. I don't know if I'm going to use a stencil for this or do I want to... I think I may use a stencil for this actually. One of my favorites. I'm going to be using this particular Tim Holtz one. Doesn't have the name. I think this was burlap, but don't quote me on that one. This is one of his tags. That kind of fits perfectly. All I gotta do is move it up and move it down if I want the edges covered. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this, and I'm gonna just go, I guess, a little heavier around, not too heavy around the edges for now. And I'm just gonna probably mix the colors when I go in. So what I'll do is I'll move this up, and now I'll go a little heavy. I shouldn't have went so heavy on that particular spot, but that's all right. You live and learn, right? All right, so what I want to do is move the stencil, and what I like to do is just a little bit of that. And you just want to pounce it up and down. If you don't want too much paint, you may want to wipe it off first and then go back in. So just a pounce. If you want to use painter's tape, washi tape that you don't mind like giving up for your mixed media work, that's also a thing you can do. So what I'm doing is I'm just using a cosmetic or makeup sponge to apply the paint. So now I'm going to go in with the light blue violet, excuse me. I always get these names mixed up, that's the reason why. Alright, so I'm just going to iterate if it mixes, because it's going to mix on the paper. And I don't know why I'm squeezing way too much. Alrighty, so again, I'm just going to use the same technique, and you want to make sure you cover your paints quickly so they don't dry out. I'm going to kind of mix it up a little and place the stencil where I want. Hold it with one hand and just pounce up and down so that I can get all this stuff in there. So just pounce up and down. I'm not really looking for perfection here. I'm just wanting to start my layer, my first layer of my project. I kind of feel like mixed media is like you work in layers and you figure out what layer you want, and then if you cover it up, you kind of bring it back. So it's also, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of give and take with your mediums. You gotta, you know, just play around with them and have fun, you know. And, you know, if you're really unsure about what you're doing, you know, I highly recommend, you know, taking classes if you want. I've done that, and I've learned a lot from a lot of different mixed media artists or artists in general. And not only that, but I like their style of teaching, and I've learned a lot from them. Meaning, like, just don't be so serious with your art. I kind of feel like that's now I really don't normally wipe up my stencils, or but if you want to, if you feel like they're getting gummed up, you may want to throw this in a bucket of water or just go into the sink. But this seems to be okay, so I'm just gonna leave that to the side. And I'm gonna kind of smooth it out a little. And this is what I call like my dry brushing technique. Just, you know. Oh, I really like that. That is just so cool. Let me stop. Move away from the paint, Eileen. Alrighty. So now I'm going to take my heat tool. This is a Martha Stewart heat tool, and as you can see, it's really old. It's really grungy. So I'm just going to heat this up. You can set this to dry. Go grab a cup of coffee, and you'll be good to go. But for me, I'm just going to heat this up to save some time. So that dried quickly because we didn't use a lot of paint, so that's awesome sauce. What else am I gonna do? I'm actually thinking about, no, I don't want to do that either. Alright, so what I want to do is, at this point, I use this particular sponge. I'll move this out the way. Let me put this here. I use this particular sponge for, I may have to dry the heart, I don't know, for the inks, and I'm going to take this stencil piece that I have right here, which is basically a leftover from a card that I made, like I said. And I'm going to try, if they don't work, if it doesn't work with the colors, then I may just add some paint to them. I'll see. But you know, I'm just going to, let me see what colors I'm going to add. I'm going to be working with crushed olive, wild honey is a good one, worn lipstick is, I got a little discombobulated. Ripe persimmon, I'm going to put these to the side. I'm going to work with that. And gathered twigs, of course. And I'm missing the cap to my jean. Alright, so we'll just put these guys together. And I'm gonna try not to make mud. Normally I do make mud, but it's alright, you know, it's just learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some gathered twigs, and I'm just going to swipe the ink on my my sponge here, and I'm going to darken that area. I'm just going to, you know, apply it. You don't really have to do like that swirly motion. You just, so since you want it really saturated, you'll just go right in there and get those really hard lines to define that area. Kind of want the leaves to be a little subtle, but have some little bit of definition there. And if they have a lot more definition, that's even better. I forget how translucent sometimes Distress ink can be, and I don't have any other inks available right now, but I will be soon. I just gotta figure it out. And voila, that's even better than what I expected. Woohoo! So I'm going to try and do that one more time, and then we'll move on to another leaf. And once again, it's going to be covered with another layer of something else. So, I mean, you can spend as much time as you want, or you can spend as little time as you want. And I'm going to do, what is this? Ripe persimmon. I'm going to pick another spot on my sponge and kind of, actually I want this more, cover this. These are the minis, the cute little cubes, and I'm just going to go in with all of that. Really define those edges as best as I can. Maybe add a little worn lipstick to the mix, and really get that fall feeling going. I'm gonna add some of that right there, worn lipstick, and add, loving that. Woohoo! It's starting to look like fall up in here. So I'm gonna actually, what is this? I'm going to use white persimmon and wild honey, mix that together. Actually, maybe I'll just use ripe persimmon for that one, and then maybe okay. And for this one, like I said, I'll just use some wild honey and ripe persimmon. Hope that I'm speaking loud enough for you guys. I'm just pouncing again up and down, nothing really special, and just trying to for this one, I think that I'm going to use wild honey and crushed olive for that particular leaf. This one may get a little muddy, but that's alright. I'm going to start off with the crushed olive. And then I'm going to mix in the wild honey. Or is that? Yeah, that's wild honey. Is that wild honey? Let's make sure. Nope, wrong color. Ah, that was the right persimmon. I needed the honey. I need honey, honey, honey. Alright, so I am going to mix in a little bit of white persimmon. Now I'm going to go over with the honey. Come back in for the crushed olive. It's making a little bit of a mud, but I kind of like it. Actually, I love it because it's my fall color. And I'm just going to go in with this one. I'm going to go and just use crushed olive for this. I'm trying to make some of the leaves as on the page and off the page as much as possible. Some wild honey for this. And I'm going to use just cover these up because I think maybe use some more lipstick for this one. Yeah, this is, let me double check. Make sure it's worn lipstick. Yep, worn lipstick. And just go in and have some fun, and just a little bit here. Actually, I need to find that better. Don't want it to look just like a blob. Okay, and right here would be good. Just gotta angle it as best as I can. So, I also want to thank everybody who's been listening to my podcast. I really appreciate it. I'll just extend it out a little bit, you know, with the sponge. Adding more color to it. Alright, so that's that layer. And make sure all of this is covered. And stack them back up. Alright, so that's that. So, I am... what am I in the mood for? I think I'm gonna call this done. I really like the simplicity of it. I love the blues. I love the leaf colors are really popping out. Yeah, and this is just one of those pages that really came together without a lot of help. These are just some frames that I got a while ago. And what I'm going to do is just going to add that. I don't know if I want to, actually I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to make it white or if I want to add the blue. You know what, I think that's what I'll do. I'll add the white. Or maybe I'll just leave it. Let me see how this looks. Kind of has... You know what? I think I'm going to leave it. And I'm not going to add any words to it. I'm just going to leave it pretty simple. And, yeah, I like the way. I think that I am going to put some of the ink on. And just kind of, if it defines it, it defines it. If not, I kind of like the look of the raw edges. Actually, I think I'm going to take some gathered twigs and I will rub some of that on this paper and see how that goes. Kind of really this out the way, make sure I'm in frame. Really define. So over the weekend, I hope you guys have a great, awesome weekend. Yeah, I'm liking that. That looks toned down a little bit. Over the weekend, we actually used our Easy Press, and I'm really sorry. I know that I said that in one of my last videos that I was going to share with you, but I do have another project coming up for the shirts, inspired wrestling shirts. They were really fun. I have to admit, I actually got really inspired by Auntie Tay, because she does like these Disney inspired whatchamacallits, costumes, mugs, and you know, wall hangings and DIY stuff. So I got really inspired by that, and I said, you know what, let me give that a shot. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun and pretty simple, and yeah, so the next one is definitely coming up. I am going to take some matte medium, and I can't find my paintbrush, so in my fingers we go. So at this point, I'm just going to let this dry after I set everything up, and that will be it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any comments or questions, please, oh my goodness, leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. And you can use regular glue for this if you guys wanted to. I'm just using matte medium because that's what I have on my desk. And I probably should have taken that piece out, but it's alright. I just realized that. So I'm just going over with my finger, and I'm kind of being sloppy, but that's alright. If I have to use my finger to clean this up, I'll do so. Put it down, and let me get my fingers clean so I can clean up the rest. And wow, I really love how this page coming together. Like, it's simple, colorful, and hopefully, I know it got my mojo going, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Like I said before, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, or you can always email me. My email address is eileen@eileenthelittlecrafter.com. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'm rambling right about now for some strange reason. So thank you for joining me, and bye for now.